There's a pattern I see constantly, and once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. The most capable, competent, emotionally intelligent women that I see, the ones who've built careers, raised children, managed households, held friendships together, held everyone else around them together without being asked, those women are disproportionately likely to end up in a relationship where they're doing all of that and running a grown man. And it's not because they want to, it's because somewhere along the way, capability became this trap. People don't talk about it enough. So I want to talk about why it happens, because understanding is the first step to breaking it. Let me start with what capability actually means in this context. Because I'm not just talking about professional success, I'm talking about a particular type of woman. She's the one who remembers everything. The appointments, the birthdays, the thing that someone said 3 months ago that she filed away because she was actually properly listening. She's the one who reads the room, who knows when something's off without people having to say a word, who manages the emotional temperature of everything, every space she walks into, every person she meets, every situation that she arrives in, without anyone noticing that she's doing it. She's the one who, when something needs doing, she just does it. And again, it's not because she has to, it's because she's so familiar with the feeling of waiting for other people to do a worse job of it than just getting on and doing it makes more sense. Sound familiar? That kind of capability is remarkable, but in the wrong relationship, it's absolutely lethal. Here's what happens when a capable woman meets the wrong man. In the early stages, it doesn't look like mothering. It looks like love. It looks like care. She picks up the slack because she's good at it, and because she wants things to go well, and because honestly, it feels easier than having the conversation about why he isn't picking it up himself. She reminds him of stuff. She manages the diary. She thinks ahead. She plans the holiday, remembers his mother's birthday, the kids' names, the kids' birthdays, the kids' shoe sizes, keeps track of what's in the fridge. She does the emotional heavy lifting when he's struggling. She holds space for his moves and adjusts her behavior around his energy. And he lets her. Not necessarily out of malice, sometimes, often, because no one's ever expected anything different from him. Because there was probably a woman before her, maybe his actual mother, who did all of this too. And so the template was set long before she arrived. Now here's the part that's hard to hear. Capable women are not randomly selected for this dynamic. They are specifically attracted to it. Not consciously, but the same wiring that makes her good at holding everything together is very often the wiring that finds a certain kind of man very familiar. The man who needs managing feels known. He activates something in her that feels like purpose, like being needed. And being needed somewhere along the way for a lot of capable women got confused with being loved. I've spoken to hundreds of women about this, and almost without exception, when we go back far enough, we find there was a moment, usually in childhood, where being capable was how they earned safety. Where doing more, managing more, being more useful was how they kept the peace or kept someone close or stopped something bad from happening. That little girl grew up into a remarkable woman, and she brought that survival strategy into her adult relationships because no one ever told her that she doesn't need it anymore. So what does a man who needs mothering actually look like? And I want to be specific here because there's a version of this that's obvious and there's a version of this that's very difficult to spot. The obvious version is the man who can't cook, can't clean, forgets everything, needs constant reminders, and somehow has reached his 40s without ever being able to book his own doctor's appointments. That man is easy to identify, and most capable women will spot him early and swerve him. The harder version is the man who presents as confident and strong, even dominant. The one who seems like he's got everything together. The one who on the surface seems like the kind of man who would never need mothering. And then 6 months in, she realizes she's managing his emotions, navigating his moods, making herself smaller when he's struggling, taking on more when he's overwhelmed. And somehow she's become responsible for his entire inner world without them ever having a conversation about it. The more traditionally masculine a man presents as, in my experience, the more likely this is, because a performance of strength often sits directly on top of an expectation of service. The manliest men I've ever encountered are frequently the ones who'll use the word mummy without irony and will expect a partner to fulfill that function, whilst also being their other half. Now I want to talk about what this costs her, because it's flipping huge and I think it's massively underestimated. It costs her time. The invisible labour of managing another adult is hugely underestimated. It's relentless and largely unacknowledged. By the time she goes on holiday with him, she's the one remembering his phone charges, who's booked which restaurant, and whether or not he's got enough pants. She didn't get a holiday. She got a change of location for the same job. It costs her desire. It's very difficult to feel attracted to someone that you're parenting. That dynamic that felt like love in the beginning very quickly starts to feel like obligation, and desire does not survive obligation for very long. It costs her own growth, because all the energy that she's putting into him is energy that she's not putting into herself. Her own dreams, her own development, her own life, her own becoming. So she's busy holding his world together while hers is treading water in the same place. And eventually, and this is the really crappy bit, eventually, if she stays long enough, it costs her the belief that anything else is possible. That a man does exist who will show up without being asked. Someone who'll notice stuff without being told, who'll carry his own weight and then reach for hers as well. Those men do exist, I promise they do, but you won't find one while you're running a man who needs a mother. So what does breaking the pattern actually look like? The first thing is the hardest. It requires her to stop being useful before she feels comfortable doing it. Not to become cold, not to withhold anything, but to create a gap at least. To stop filling every silence with her own effort. To let things go undone and see what happens. And to ask for what she needs instead of spending all her time anticipating his needs. Because here's the truth about the right man, he will just step into that gap. He will notice, he will ask what he can do. He won't need managing because he'll already be managing himself and maybe others too. And the wrong man, he won't notice the gap at all. Or he'll be really confused when she stops filling it because he has mistaken her service for her personality. The gap's the test, and she deserves to know what's on the other side of it, doesn't she? The second thing is understanding that her capability is not the problem. The problem is where she's been directing it, towards men who consume it, rather than men who are worthy of it. Stop being useful to the wrong people. Stay as lovely, as kind, as generous, as capable and loving as you are. But please aim it differently. The right man won't want you to manage him. He'll want to build something with you. And that, for a woman who's spent years managing everything alone, will feel like the most unfamiliar and brilliant thing in the world. If this has landed for you today, I'd love you to let me know in the comments. Tell me where you recognized yourself, where it hit hardest. And if you're in a relationship right now where you recognize this pattern playing out, where you can perhaps feel yourself mothering someone who should be your equal, there is support available. There are many other people in your situation, and it is fixable. Because you didn't come this far, build everything that you've built, survived what you've survived, to be remembering someone's pants and phone charges. Big hug.